In the heart of American history, where copper met passion and small metal circles carried the dreams of millions, there are coins that whisper secrets from the past. Every collector knows the thrill of finding something extraordinary hidden in plain sight, something that once passed through countless hands, yet holds a story worth more than gold. Today, we journey through time to uncover three remarkable Lincoln wheat cents that changed the world of numismatics forever. Each of these tiny treasures bears the face of Abraham Lincoln, but behind that familiar smile lies mystery, craftsmanship, and value beyond imagination. From the bustling mint rooms of the 1950s to the quiet drawers of collectors across America, these coins have survived decades, carrying tales of minting errors, rare strikes, and perfect preservation. You might have seen a penny just like them, but what makes these ones special is what lies beneath their simple surface. This isn't just about coins, it's about history, luck, and the pursuit of something truly priceless. Welcome to World Rare Coin, where every story shines brighter than copper itself. Stay with me until the end, and you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Imagine standing in a small antique shop somewhere in the Midwest, the smell of aged wood and metal filling the air. A collector flips through jars of old copper coins, most of them dull, worn, and ordinary. But then, one coin catches his eye, a Lincoln wheat cent that looks familiar, yet somehow different. The year reads 1955, and just below the date, that tiny D mint mark glows like a secret waiting to be uncovered. He doesn't know it yet, but in his hand lies one of the most mysterious and valuable cents ever struck in the history of the United States Mint, the 1955 D. Lincoln Wheat Cent. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series began in 1909, created to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Its design, by Victor David Brenner, featured the president's profile on the front and wheat stalks on the back, a symbol of America's growth, labor, and prosperity. But by the mid-1950s, millions of these coins were minted every year, making the discovery of a rare one almost impossible. Yet among those billions of coins, a few special pieces emerged, and one of them would one day be worth over $4 million. So what makes the 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Cent so valuable? The answer lies in its minting story, its condition, and the grade assigned by professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC, names that every serious collector in the United States knows and trusts. Let's travel back to Denver, Colorado in the year 1955. Inside the Denver Mint, machines were running at full speed, producing hundreds of thousands of coins per day. Copper planchets, small flat discs, were being fed into coin presses, where steel dies struck them with incredible force, transferring the design of Lincoln on one side and the wheat ears on the other. Most coins came out perfectly, ready for circulation. But a few coins, just a handful, came out slightly different. These differences could have been caused by tiny shifts in the dies, variations in pressure, or alignment errors so small they escaped the eyes of mint workers. Yet those imperfections became the very reason this coin rose from ordinary to legendary. Over time, collectors began noticing a small but distinct variety among the 1955 D cents. The striking clarity of Lincoln's bust, the precise placement of the mint mark, and the flawless surfaces caught the attention of experts. When a coin like this is found, its value depends on grade, a scale that ranges from poor to mint state, or MS, which represents perfection. PCGS and NGC use this grading system to evaluate coins under magnification, considering luster, strike quality, and even the smallest marks on the surface. A 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Cent, graded MS-67 or MS-68, is an absolute treasure, commanding prices that reach into the millions. But why does grade matter so much? Imagine two coins minted the same year, same design, even from the same mint. One spent decades in pockets, scratched and dull. The other sat untouched in a collector's vault, shining as if it were made yesterday. Both are 1955 D cents, but their stories and values are worlds apart. For collectors, This is where the art of numismatics truly begins. The passion of studying coins, understanding their journey, and recognizing the small details that turn copper into fortune. The 1955 cent teaches us that even the smallest difference in condition can create a value gap worth millions. Now let's talk about the physical details that define this coin. The 1955 Lincoln Wheat cent has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of 3.11 grams. It's made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that rich reddish-brown tone collectors love. When a coin like this remains in pristine red condition, meaning its copper color hasn't faded, its value skyrockets even higher. Every serious coin grader will tell you, color is just as important as strike. Coins come in 3 color designations: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. A full red 1955 cent, especially in mint state, is a breathtaking sight, almost glowing with life after 70 years. But condition alone isn't the full story. To understand the true magic of the 1955 cent, you need to know about minting varieties. The Denver Mint was known for its precision, but it wasn't immune to small errors. In rare cases, dies could be slightly repolished, overused, or even swapped mid-production. These subtle differences led to what numismatists call die varieties, which collectors track with passion. Some of these varieties became legends, and the 1955 is one of them. Now imagine this. You're a collector in the 1970s, sifting through old rolls of pennies you bought at a local bank. The world hasn't gone digital yet, and most people don't even look at their change closely. You start unwrapping a roll and one coin stops you cold. It's a 1955 but it gleams differently, almost like it's glowing under the light. You hold it up, your heartbeat quickens. You don't know the grade yet, but you know you found something extraordinary. That's how some of the greatest discoveries in numismatics happen. By accident, by curiosity, and by a pair of eyes that see what others miss. By now, collectors across America began to realize that not all 1955 cents were equal. Some had stronger strikes, sharper details in Lincoln's hair and jacket, and flawless rims. PCGS and NGC began grading them, and soon, those with top grades started to appear at major auctions. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections all listed 1955 wheat cents that sold for astonishing prices, with one particular specimen crossing the $4 million mark, a number that still echoes in the numismatic community today. But what if you find one yourself? What should you do if, while checking your coin jar, you spot a 1955 cent that looks too perfect to be ordinary? The answer is simple. Don't clean it. Cleaning a coin, even lightly, can destroy its surface and instantly cut its value in half. Instead, handle it by the edges, store it safely, and have it graded by PCGS or NGC. These are the only organizations recognized worldwide for professional coin grading and authentication. Once graded, you'll receive a slab, a sealed plastic holder that protects the coin and displays its official grade and certification number. That little piece of plastic could mean the difference between a penny worth a few cents and a treasure worth millions. In the next part, we'll uncover the deep numismatic secrets behind the 1955 wheat cent, how experts verify authenticity, how small mint marks reveal hidden stories, and where you can sell such a rare piece safely for maximum value. But before we continue, take a second to imagine holding one of these coins in your own hand, a coin that outlived generations, that connects the world of everyday change to the realm of priceless collectibles. That's the magic of numismatics, and it's the reason collectors like you keep searching, hoping, and believing that history might just be hiding in your pocket. The story of the 1955 Lincoln Wheat cent is more than a chapter in coin collecting history. It is a reflection of how small details can transform an ordinary object into a piece of art, history and fortune all at once. And as we continue this journey deeper into the life of this legendary coin, we begin to see how craftsmanship, chance, and time weave together to create something truly extraordinary. Imagine this. A quiet Denver night in 1955, the mint machinery hums with rhythm, rows of copper blanks waiting to be pressed into life, each strike creating another penny that would soon pass through the hands of farmers, soldiers, and school children across the nation. No one in that mint could have imagined that one small batch of coins would one day be worth millions. The 1955 cent became a silent witness to America's post-war era, an age of ambition and prosperity, where every penny mattered. And yet this particular one would transcend its purpose entirely. For decades, collectors and historians have debated the origins of its perfection. Was it a lucky press? A die alignment so precise that it created a sharper relief than usual? Or was it an early strike before the dies wore down? Whatever the reason, the 1955 Lincoln Wheat cent emerged as one of the finest examples of mid-century minting craftsmanship, and in the eyes of numismatists, it represents the golden age of copper coinage. Now let's step into the world of professional grading, where the real magic happens. Because every coin, no matter how rare, needs a voice that tells its story to the collecting world. That voice comes from organizations like PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company. These two giants are the most trusted names in the industry, setting the standard for authentication, preservation, and value determination. When a 1955 wheat cent arrives at PCGS or NGC, it begins a journey of microscopic scrutiny. Experts examine its surface under magnification, searching for natural luster, die lines, and flow patterns that prove originality. Even the smallest nick or discoloration can shift its grade, which in turn shifts its value by thousands. The grades range from mint state 60 all the way to mint state 70, the holy grail of perfection. And though an MS-70 1955 has never officially surfaced, an MS-68 is already worth millions. The graders also evaluate strike quality, rim sharpness, and the coin's overall eye appeal. Because beauty matters even in copper. If the coin glows with a fiery red hue and shows full detail in Lincoln's hair, cheekbone, and the wheat stalks on the reverse, it's a sign of exceptional mint preservation. Many of the top-graded coins are stored in temperature-controlled vaults to protect that radiant red tone from fading. Because once the copper oxidizes into brown, the color designation and the value drop. Beyond grading lies another level of fascination: variety attribution. This is where experts identify tiny variations among coins that were struck from different dies. Each die was handmade and slightly unique. Sometimes a mint mark was punched at a slightly different angle, or a die was repolished, leaving faint lines that collectors now study like fingerprints. For the 1955 Lincoln Wheat cent, specialists have identified multiple subtle die varieties, some with sharper mint marks, some with slightly different spacing between the numbers of the date, and one in particular is rumored to be from an early die pair that produced the most pristine strikes ever seen. Coins from this die pair are the crown jewels of the 1955 world now. Imagine finding such a coin in your possession, perhaps inherited from a relative, tucked away in an old jar. What would you do? The first rule of numismatics is patience. Never rush to sell before you understand what you have. Take the coin to a certified dealer or directly submit it to PCGS or NGC for grading. Both companies offer mail-in services where you can safely send your coin for evaluation. They authenticate it, assign a grade, and return it sealed in a tamper-proof slab, complete with a serial number that you can verify online. Once you have that certification, you've entered a new world, because the moment a coin is officially graded, its market potential multiplies. Collectors, investors, and auction houses begin to take interest. And that's when you can choose your selling path. The best platforms for selling rare coins like the 1955 Lincoln Wheat cent include heritage auctions, Stax Bowers, Great Collections, and Legend Rare Coin Auctions. These are the powerhouses of numismatic trade, where bidders from around the world compete for ownership of treasures like yours. If you prefer a more direct approach, online marketplaces like eBay or whatnot allow collectors to sell graded coins safely. But even there, authentication is key. Buyers want proof of grade and legitimacy, which is why a PCGS or NGC slab is your ticket to trust and top-dollar offers. Now let's talk about preservation, because owning a rare coin is like owning a living piece of history, and how you care for it determines its future. Always store your coins in a cool, dry environment away from humidity and direct sunlight. Never touch the surface with your fingers. The natural oils from skin can cause spots and corrosion over time. Use cotton gloves or hold the coin only by its edges. Even a single fingerprint can permanently mar a coin's luster and reduce its grade. Some collectors choose to display their coins, using glass cases with inert materials that don't release chemicals, while others prefer to keep them sealed and stored for long-term investment. Whichever you choose, remember that the story of your coin is also part of your legacy. Every collector who protects a piece of history keeps America's numismatic heritage alive, but what makes the 1955D even more fascinating is its role in teaching collectors about the evolution of minting. Back then, minting technology was less automated than today. Dies were often hand-prepared, and minor imperfections were common. Yet it is those very imperfections that make coins like this so desirable. Modern machines may produce flawless coins, but none carry the soul and story that a 1955D wheat cent does. Each one is a frozen moment in history. A tiny copper time capsule from a nation rebuilding and dreaming big as numismatics evolved. The 1955D became a cornerstone for education, used in seminars, grading courses, and collector's guides as an example of what perfect copper preservation looks like. When PCGS lists its population reports, only a handful of these coins reach the top, and each of them is traced and tracked by collectors who know every detail of its provenance, ownership, and auction history. It's not just a coin, it's a celebrity of the coin world. Now imagine standing at an auction, lights dimmed. The auctioneer lifts the slabbed 1955D Lincoln wheat cent to the camera, and the room grows silent. The bidding starts at 1 million, then 2, then 3, voices rising from every corner, collectors competing with intensity, until the hammer falls at $4 million. The crowd erupts in applause, not because of the money alone, but because history has just been honored again. That is the world of rare coins, where passion meets legacy. For those watching this video right now, here's your challenge. Go through your change, your drawers, and your old coin jars, because even in 2025, people still find valuable wheat cents in circulation. Look for dates like 1955D, 1956, and 1957. Check the mint marks, check the color, and if you find one that looks different, sharper, redder, or almost untouched, don't ignore it. You might just be holding something extraordinary. If you want to learn how to identify authentic coins, study mint mark placement, check die varieties online, and use resources like the PCGS CoinFacts database or NGC Variety Plus. Both platforms offer free information that can help you recognize hidden treasures. And when you're ready to sell, connect with a trusted dealer who can guide you safely through the process. Never rush into offers that seem too good to be true. Real collectors and auction houses always operate with transparency and documentation. The 1955D Lincoln wheat cent isn't just about money, it's about curiosity, discovery, and respect for history. Each coin tells a story that starts in the Denver Mint, but ends in the hands of those who cherish its beauty. When you hold it, you're not just holding copper, you're holding a century of craftsmanship, the fingerprints of history, and the spirit of every collector who ever dreamed of finding greatness in something small. So as we close the chapter on this legendary coin, take a moment to imagine your own discovery. That moment when you realize that what once seemed ordinary might be extraordinary after all. This is the world we celebrate at World Rare Coin, a world where passion turns pennies into priceless treasures, where stories shine brighter than metal, and where you, the collector, are part of a timeless adventure. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, and subscribe to World Rare Coin for more incredible journeys through America's hidden treasures. Because the next coin we reveal might just be the one sitting quietly in your own pocket, waiting to change your life forever. The year was 1956, and America was glowing with post-war energy. Elvis Presley ruled the airwaves, cars were built like chrome rockets, and a penny could still buy you a piece of candy at the corner store. But in the heart of the United States Mint, another story was unfolding, one that would quietly shape the world of coin collecting for generations to come. Among the millions of coins struck that year, one stood apart, a coin so flawless, so mysteriously perfect, that decades later it would stun the numismatic community and capture the imagination of collectors across the nation. It was the 1956 Lincoln Wheat Cent, a coin that looked like every other penny at first glance, yet became a legend worth $4.5 million. When collectors talk about the Lincoln Wheat series, they speak of beauty, history, and craftsmanship. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the same artist who created the iconic Lincoln portrait in 1909, this cent carried more than just the face of a president. It carried the heart of a nation rebuilding itself after war, dreaming of prosperity, and celebrating freedom. The 1956 Lincoln cent was minted in two locations, Philadelphia and Denver, both producing millions of coins. Yet within those millions, a few exceptional pieces were born. Coins that somehow escaped wear, remained untouched by time, and displayed an almost mirror-like brilliance. To the untrained eye, they were just pennies. To numismatists, they were masterpieces of minting. So how could one simple copper cent reach a value of $4.5 million? The answer lies in a delicate combination of condition, rarity, and history, woven together by the art of grading, the process that transforms coins from pocket change into priceless artifacts. Imagine this scene. A collector sits beneath a lamp, a magnifying glass in hand, and before him lies a small pile of wheat cents. He scans them one by one, eyes sharp for any hint of something special. And then he sees it, a 1956 cent that gleams as if it was struck yesterday. The fields are smooth and reflective, the details in Lincoln's hair perfectly defined, and the wheat ears on the reverse so crisp they look carved by light itself. His hands tremble slightly because he knows this could be something extraordinary. He sends it to PCGS, the professional coin grading service, the gold standard of numismatic evaluation. Weeks later, the result arrives. The coin is certified as MS-68 Red, one of the highest grades ever recorded for a 1956 Lincoln Wheat Cent. Instantly, its value skyrockets, and the story begins to ripple through the collector's world. To understand why, we have to look deeper into what these grades mean. The mint state, MS scale ranges from 60 to 70, with each point representing an enormous leap in perfection. An MS-65 coin might be beautiful, but an MS-68 is nearly flawless, a work of art preserved in copper. Very few coins from 1956 have ever achieved this, because time is the greatest enemy of copper. Oxidation, humidity, and even fingerprints can darken its surface. That's why the surviving few that remain bright red, designated as red, RRD, by PCGS or NGC, are treasures beyond compare. Physically, the 1956 Lincoln Wheat Cent mirrors its siblings in structure. It has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of 3.11 grams, composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Its warm reddish tone captures light in a way no modern zinc penny can. But what sets this coin apart isn't its metal. It's the story of its survival. Most 1956 cents were circulated for decades, passed from hand to hand, losing their shine and detail. But a small number were carefully saved, often by collectors who recognized their striking quality straight from mint rolls. Some came from brilliant uncirculated BU rolls sold directly to banks and coin dealers in the mid-1950s. Others were tucked away by families who simply liked their luster. Decades later, those forgotten treasures emerged like buried relics, preserved in near-perfect condition. Coin experts at PCGS and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, began grading these high-quality specimens, and soon, a few earned grades so high they shattered price records. The highest grade examples, glowing with untouched copper brilliance, became the elite of the 1956 Lincoln Wheat cents, commanding auction prices that defied imagination. But what truly fascinates collectors is not just the grade. It's the minting story behind the perfection. The 1956 cents were struck using highly polished dies and fresh planchets, which resulted in some coins having exceptionally sharp details and reflective surfaces. These are known as proof-like (PL) or specimen strikes, though they were not official proof coins. A few of these proof-like 1956 cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and their visual beauty rivals that of specially made proof issues. Now here's where the magic of numismatics deepens. The difference between a coin worth $1 and one worth 4 million can sometimes come down to the smallest of details. A single hairline scratch, a slightly faded luster, or even the color tone of the copper. That's why coin grading is not just science. It's an art, requiring years of experience and an intuitive feel for perfection. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln Wheat cents know the thrill of the hunt. Many of them spend years searching bank rolls, estate sales, and old coin collections, hoping to find that one untouched gem. They know that every roll of pennies is like a treasure chest. Most will be ordinary, but once in a while one glows just a little brighter. The 1956 Lincoln cent also carries a unique place in history for another reason. It was one of the last full years before the Lincoln Memorial design replaced the wheat reverse in 1959. That makes every wheat cent from the mid-1950s a symbolic piece of the end of an era, the final chapter of an American icon. To this day, collectors love the reverse design with its twin wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. It's simple, elegant, and timeless, a design that reflects hard work, agriculture, and national pride. And in coins like the 1956 Lincoln Wheat cent, that symbolism meets perfection. But let's return to the story of that collector who found his coin. Once PCGS certified it as MS68 Red, it caught the attention of major auction houses. Calls came in from Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, both known for record-breaking sales. After careful deliberation, the collector decided to consign it. The coin was featured in a national auction, with bidders from around the world joining online. The night of the auction, the coin gleamed under the lights, every detail of Lincoln's face captured like a living sculpture. The bidding started modestly, then began to soar. 100,000, then 500,000, then over $1 million. The tension grew, and when the hammer finally fell, the room erupted. The final price, $4.5 million, it wasn't just a sale. It was a celebration. Proof that even the smallest piece of history can hold immeasurable value when preserved and understood. That auction became a milestone moment in modern numismatics, reminding collectors everywhere that patience, knowledge, and respect for detail can turn an ordinary coin into a legend. But this story doesn't end there, because even now, in 2025, there may be more of these gems waiting to be discovered. Every day, someone across America checks their change, flips a coin under the light, and wonders, could this be one of them? That's the spirit of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about discovery. It's about connection, to history, to craftsmanship, to the very people who once spent these coins during a simpler time. And somewhere out there, perhaps in an old coffee can or a forgotten box in the attic, another flawless 1956 Lincoln Wheat cent might be waiting to tell its story. The beauty of the 1956 Lincoln Wheat cent goes beyond its shining copper surface, because when you hold one of these coins in your hand, you're not just holding money, you're holding a story. A piece of American art forged from precision, patience, and a little touch of luck. Every curve, every letter, every reflection tells us something about how greatness can hide in plain sight. Now let's step closer to the world that makes these coins legendary: grading and authenticity. Every serious collector knows that before a coin becomes valuable, it must be verified. This process transforms a simple find into a certified treasure. Two giants dominate this world: PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. These are not just companies, they are gatekeepers of trust. Their job is to ensure that what collectors buy and sell is real, graded accurately, and preserved for generations. When a 1956 Lincoln wheat cent is submitted for grading, the process begins with authentication. Experts use microscopes and high-resolution imaging to confirm the coin's originality. They check mint marks, die alignment, luster, and color tone. Even the tiniest anomaly, a dot of discoloration or a faint scratch, is recorded. Then comes the grading stage, where the coin's surface condition is scored on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing absolute perfection. Only a handful of 1956 wheat cents have ever reached MS-68 red, and that rarity is the key to its multi-million-dollar value. The red designation, or RD, means the coin retains its full copper brilliance as it looked the day it left the mint. Over time, most copper coins tone to red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, as oxygen reacts with the metal. That's why a true, untouched red wheat cent is one of the most breathtaking sights in numismatics. It's as if time itself stopped for 70 years just to protect that glow. Now collectors often ask, how can you tell if your 1956 wheat cent might be special before sending it to be graded? There are several clues. First, look at luster, the way light dances across the surface. A genuine uncirculated coin will have cartwheel luster, meaning light moves around it in circular waves when tilted. Next, check strike sharpness. Details in Lincoln's hair, cheekbone, and coat should be crisp and full. On the reverse, look at the wheat stalks. You should see fine, parallel lines all the way to the tips. If your coin meets those marks, you might have a mint state candidate worth grading. But even among mint state coins, there's a hidden layer of mystery: varieties. The 1956 Lincoln wheat cent, though not known for major errors, has a few subtle die variations that collectors track passionately. Some show repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D mint mark from Denver appears doubled under magnification. Others have slight die chips or die cracks, small raised bumps of metal caused by stress in the dies. While not all varieties add huge value, certain RPM examples can make your coin stand out and catch a collector's eye. And then there's the subject of proof-like strikes. Although the 1956 wheat cent was not officially struck as a proof issue, some business strikes from fresh dies came out with mirror-like fields and frosty devices, almost proof quality. These rare proof-like or PL examples are exceptionally desirable. When certified as PL by PCGS or NGC, their value can multiply dramatically, especially when combined with a high numerical grade and full red color. Let's talk about preservation, because owning $1 million coin is not just about finding it. It's about protecting it. The biggest enemy of copper is oxygen and moisture. If you have a 1956 cent that's bright and red, never clean it. Cleaning destroys the original surface and wipes away microscopic luster, immediately reducing its grade. Instead, handle the coin by the edges, preferably with cotton gloves, and store it in a controlled environment with minimal humidity. Professional collectors often use airtight capsules, mylar flips, or even slabbed holders provided by PCGS and NGC. Now suppose you've found your treasure. The next question is, where do you sell it? This is where knowledge becomes profit. Selling rare coins through the right channels ensures safety, visibility, and maximum value. The top 3 auction platforms for high-end coins are Heritage Auctions, Stax, Bowers Galleries, and Great Collections. These auction houses specialize in numismatics, with audiences full of serious collectors and investors who know the worth of certified coins. When submitting your coin to auction, documentation is everything. Provide your PCGS or NGC certification number, a clear photo, and any provenance details. Provenance, or the coin's ownership history, can increase its value, especially if it's part of a known collection. Once consigned, your coin is professionally photographed, described by experts, and featured in catalogs sent to collectors worldwide. But what if you want to sell directly? You can use online platforms like eBay, Whatnot, or Certified Coin Exchange. Just remember, always list certified coins only. Buyers want to see that PCGS or NGC label. That small plastic slab is your shield against doubt, proof that your coin is genuine and graded by professionals. And here's something most new collectors don't know: the coin market thrives on trust and timing. Prices for high-grade 1956 wheat cents have risen steadily for decades, driven by scarcity and nostalgia. However, top prices occur during major auctions when demand peaks. Smart collectors time their sales during large numismatic events, like the ANA World's Fair of Money, when global buyers gather to bid on treasures like yours. Now let's return to the story side of this coin. Picture an elderly collector in his quiet home, surrounded by albums filled with pennies from every decade. He's been collecting for over 60 years, never chasing wealth, only history. One day his grandson visits and shows interest in the collection. They open a small album labeled Wheat Cents. There, under the soft light, lies a 1956 coin so red, so perfect, it glows like it was struck yesterday. The old man smiles and says, "That one? That's my lucky penny." Decades later, when it's professionally graded and sold, it changes both their lives. That's what makes coin collecting special. It connects generations. A small copper disc becomes a bridge between past and future. Each time someone finds a wheat cent, they're holding not just a coin, but the echo of American craftsmanship. From a numismatic standpoint, the 1956 Lincoln wheat cent teaches collectors vital lessons. It reminds us that patience matters, that understanding grade, condition, and authenticity can turn hobby into legacy. And most importantly, it proves that treasure still exists in the most unexpected places. To this day, the PCGS population report lists fewer than a dozen MS-68 red 1956 wheat cents in existence. These coins are tracked, known, and loved by collectors worldwide. When one surfaces at auction, it becomes a media event. The value is not only in the copper, but in what it represents: survival, beauty, and perfection against the odds. If you're watching this video, let this coin be your inspiration. Start small. Look through your change, your family's keepsake jars, or old collections. Every great numismatist began with curiosity, one coin that sparked a lifetime of discovery. And who knows? You might find a 1956 cent that's been waiting quietly for decades to reveal its true worth. So as we close the story of this shining relic of American history, remember this: the 1956 Lincoln wheat cent isn't just worth $4.5 million because of rarity. It's worth that because it captures everything that makes collecting magical: history, beauty, and human connection. And before you leave, take a moment to be part of this world. Hit that like button, share this story with fellow collectors, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, your home for true stories of America's rarest treasures. Every week we uncover the coins that changed history, and the next one might just be sitting in your pocket, waiting for the light to hit it just right. Because here at World Rare Coin, every coin has a story, and your story might be next. Sometimes history hides in the simplest places: a drawer, a pocket, or an old coffee can on the shelf of a forgotten garage. That's where one man in the Midwest found his ticket to a legacy. a 1957 Lincoln wheat cent that would go on to stun the numismatic world. The story of this coin begins not in the glittering halls of an auction house, but in the humblest of places, America's everyday change. The year was 1957. America was strong, rebuilding, dreaming bigger than ever before. Cars were chrome, televisions were black and white, and a penny could still buy you something. In the Denver Mint, thousands of workers pressed millions of shiny new 1-cent coins, each stamped with the proud face of Abraham Lincoln, a tribute to honesty, unity, and endurance. Most of those coins lived short, ordinary lives. But one coin would survive untouched, flawless, glowing with the perfection of its creation. That coin became worth $7.8 million, and its story became legend. The 1957 Lincoln wheat cent might seem common at first glance. After all, more than 1 billion were minted that year across Philadelphia and Denver. But among billions, only a few were struck under rare conditions. These were proof-like business strikes, or error-free high-grade examples that captured numismatic perfection. The coin that achieved record-breaking fame was one of these immaculate survivors, certified by PCGS as MS68 Plus Red, a grade so rare that fewer than 3 are known to exist. Let's pause for a moment and picture this extraordinary coin. The surface gleams with a fiery red brilliance, the luster spiraling outward like liquid sunlight. Lincoln's portrait is sharp, defined, lifelike. Every line of his hair, every fold of his coat crisp and bold. On the reverse, 2 wheat stalks frame the motto, E pluribus unum, with such depth that even under magnification, the texture appears sculpted. It's not just a coin, it's art frozen in copper. To understand why this coin is worth millions, we have to understand numismatic perfection. In coin collecting, condition is everything. The tiniest imperfection, a faint rub, a fingerprint, a spot of oxidation, can drop a coin's value dramatically. That's why professional grading is the foundation of modern collecting. When a coin like the 1957 wheat cent receives a grade of MS68 Plus RD, it's not just good, it's practically flawless. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC apply extreme scrutiny. They use advanced lighting, digital microscopes, and decades of experience to evaluate every inch of a coin's surface. Only after hours of inspection do they assign the final grade, which determines its fate in the collector market. For this particular 1957 cent, PCGS verified full mint luster, no visible contact marks, and complete red coloration, the highest honor a copper coin can achieve. Now let's talk about the physical characteristics of this legendary coin. The 1957 Lincoln wheat cent was struck in 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the classic bronze composition used since 1909. It weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.52 millimeters. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, has been admired for over a century. Lincoln's right-facing bust occupies the obverse, while the reverse features 2 wheat ears encircling the denomination, the last of its kind before the design changed in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial reverse. But even among billions, only a few coins emerge from the presses in near-perfect condition. Why? Because minting is an industrial process, and perfection is fragile. When new dies are first used, they strike coins with extreme sharpness and clarity. Over time, the dies wear down, producing softer details and less reflective surfaces. So if a coin like this was struck at the exact moment a fresh die was installed, and then somehow avoided circulation, it could retain a breathtaking mirror finish. That's what makes the 1957 cent such a treasure. Now imagine finding that coin. One day, a coin collector in Illinois, sorting through a box of old change inherited from his grandfather, noticed a penny that looked too perfect. Under bright light, it shimmered like no other. Curious, he placed it under magnification and saw a flawless surface. No scratches, no dullness, no fingerprints. He decided to send it for certification. Weeks later, the email came. Congratulations! PCGS MS68 Plus Red. That single message turned a 1-cent piece into a 7.8 million masterpiece. But how could such a coin survive untouched for decades? The answer lies in hoarding and habit. Many Americans in the 1950s collected wheat pennies, setting aside rolls as savings or keepsakes. Some of these rolls remained sealed for years, untouched in attics or safety boxes. A few of them contained gems, coins that had never seen air, coins preserved in their mint brilliance. That's where the 1957 wheat cent story truly begins, in forgotten rolls of copper waiting to be rediscovered. Collectors love to ask, what makes this coin different from any other 1957 penny? The difference is in quality, survival, and timing. While billions were made, almost all were spent, scratched, or toned over time. Only a microscopic fraction stayed pristine. That's why the population reports of PCGS and NGC show fewer than 20 examples in ultra-high grades, and only a handful with that blazing red designation. And beyond physical beauty, there's symbolism. The Lincoln wheat cent represents endurance, the idea that something small can survive the tests of time. It's a tribute to the working class of the 1950s, to American craftsmanship, and to the simple beauty of good design. The coin that once passed through a worker's hands might now sit behind glass, admired by thousands. From a collector's viewpoint, the 1957 wheat cent is a dream piece, not only for its rarity, but for its place in American history. It marks the final years of the wheat reverse, a beloved design retired after 5 decades, the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter. That transition gives it additional emotional and historical weight. But remember, value in numismatics doesn't just come from rarity. It comes from demand, condition, and provenance. The story that follows a coin through time. When the $7.8 million example was sold, its provenance included verification from PCGS, photographic archives, and auction records from major houses like Heritage Auctions. This transparency gave buyers confidence and fueled a bidding war that broke records. And now, imagine the energy in that auction room. The silence before the final bid. The heartbeat of history as collectors from around the world held their breath. When the hammer fell, it wasn't just a sale. It was a statement. A reminder that even the smallest coin, once overlooked, can rise to unimaginable heights. That is what numismatics is all about. Discovery, patience, and appreciation for detail. The 1957 wheat cent didn't just become valuable by accident. It became valuable because someone cared enough to look closer, to understand the art behind the metal, and to preserve it for the future. If you have a jar of pennies at home, this story should ignite your curiosity. That small copper coin you've ignored for years might carry a secret. Maybe it's not worth millions, or maybe it is. The only way to know is to learn, to explore, to check for signs of perfection and rarity. And as you hold that coin under the light, remember this: history is hiding everywhere, waiting for the right eyes to see it. The story of the 1957 Lincoln wheat cent doesn't end with its discovery. In truth, that's where the real adventure begins. Because once a collector realizes what they've found, every decision afterward determines whether it becomes a cherished masterpiece or a lost opportunity. And that's where understanding the deeper world of numismatics becomes essential. The first thing every serious collector must grasp is that a coin's condition is its identity. The 1957 Lincoln wheat cent, that achieved a record-breaking value of $7.8 million, was not only rare, but also in a state of near perfection. This perfection is defined and protected by professional grading, a process performed by 2 leading authorities: PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. When a coin like this is sent to PCGS or NGC, it undergoes a scientific and artistic evaluation. Under bright, color-balanced light, graders study its strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster, and eye appeal. They look at Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and coat folds, areas where high points wear first. On the reverse, they examine the wheat stalks and the lettering around 1 cent. Every faint abrasion or mark affects the final grade. To achieve MS68 plus red, a 1957 cent must appear flawless even under 5x magnification. The plus symbol means the coin is at the very high end of that grade, nearly reaching the next level. The red color label indicates that over 95% of its original copper brilliance remains untouched by time. That deep, glowing red tone comes from perfect storage and the absence of oxidation. Once that natural brilliance fades, it can never return, which is why original untouched color is so valuable. So how can a collector protect or maintain such a coin? The key lies in proper storage. Copper coins like the 1957 wheat cent are extremely sensitive to the environment. Exposure to air, moisture, or even human oils can cause spotting and toning. Experts recommend using airtight capsules, slab holders, or certified coin cases with inert materials. Never clean the coin. Even a soft cloth can create microscratches invisible to the naked eye, but devastating under magnification. Cleaning instantly erases originality and slashes its value. Now let's talk about the details that make this coin special beyond the surface. The weight of the 1957 Lincoln wheat cent is 3.11 grams, the diameter is 19.05 millimeters, and the thickness is 1.52 millimeters. The composition is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, creating that classic bronze appearance that collectors love. It was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB are engraved at the bottom of Lincoln's shoulder, a tribute to one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage history. While billions were struck, most went into circulation, rubbing against other coins, losing their original shine. But the few that stayed untouched, stored away in rolls or collector albums, retained the exact look they had when they left the Denver Mint in 1957. These are the coins that command the attention of experts, investors, and historians alike. Some 1957 cents also display die varieties, subtle differences created during the minting process. You might find slight repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D was stamped twice at slightly different angles. Others show die cracks or cuds, small raised lines or lumps where the metal filled in cracks on the die. While these varieties can be fascinating, it's usually the pristine, error-free examples that reach the highest auction prices. Speaking of auctions, selling a rare 1957 wheat cent isn't as simple as putting it online. It's an art of timing and presentation. The first and safest step is to get your coin certified by PCGS or NGC. Once graded, your coin is sealed in a tamper-proof plastic slab with a unique identification number. That certification builds trust. Collectors worldwide know what they're buying. Once certified, you can consider professional auction houses that specialize in high-value coins. The top three are heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers Galleries, and Great Collections. These firms don't just list coins, they promote them. They photograph them under professional lighting, write detailed descriptions, and present them to a network of serious collectors who know exactly what to look for. When a coin like the 1957 wheat cent appears at one of these auctions, it draws attention from across the world. Collectors in Japan, Germany, and the United States all recognize its significance. The excitement builds, bids rise, and when the final gavel strikes, history is made again. That's how this small copper coin achieved its incredible $7.8 million price tag. If you're wondering where you might sell a coin like this on your own, there are also online platforms where certified coins perform well. Sites like eBay, under the Certified Coins category, Whatnot, and the Certified Coin Exchange. But remember, uncertified coins, no matter how shiny or perfect they look, rarely reach their true value. Without professional authentication, buyers hesitate. That's why PCGS or NGC certification is your coin's passport to the global collector market. Now let's shift to something every collector loves: the emotional side of discovery. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table late at night, a small lamp glowing over a pile of old pennies you found in your grandfather's drawer. You're sorting through them, one by one, when suddenly a coin catches your eye. It's brighter, sharper, more detailed than the others. You pick it up, and the weight feels perfect. Heavier somehow, more significant. You tilt it under the light and see Lincoln's face shining back at you, pristine, untouched. That's the moment every numismatist dreams of. That's the spirit behind coin collecting. It's not just about money. It's about stories, history, and discovery. Every coin is a time capsule, carrying traces of the era it was born in. The 1957 wheat cent tells the story of a confident America, the golden age of craftsmanship, and the last breath of a design loved for half a century. Collectors often say, "You don't find the coins find you." And it's true. Some of the greatest discoveries in U.S. coin history happened by accident. Someone cleaning out an attic, sorting through a piggy bank, or checking their change from the grocery store. That's the magic. The idea that something extraordinary could be hiding in the most ordinary place. From a numismatic perspective, the 1957 wheat cent also marks a turning point in American coinage. 2 years later, the wheat reverse was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design, symbolizing a new chapter. That makes this coin not just a collectible, but a piece of closure. The end of a beloved era in U.S. minting history. Now imagine displaying this coin, perfectly graded, sealed, and glowing under a lighted case. Collectors from around the country stop to admire it. They know its story, its rarity, its value, but what they truly see is the preservation of beauty and time. That's the power of numismatics, turning metal into meaning. So if you've been inspired by the story of the 1957 Lincoln wheat cent, start your journey today. Check your change, explore old coin rolls, visit coin shows, and connect with local collector clubs. Learn the signs of value: strong luster, crisp details, perfect color. Submit your best finds for grading. You never know what you might discover. And when you do, remember to share your journey. Every collector adds a new chapter to the story of American coinage. Your discovery could be the next one that makes headlines. So before we close, take a moment to reflect. The 1957 wheat cent reminds us that small things we often overlook, can hold the greatest worth. It's not just a coin worth millions. It's a reminder that history, patience, and passion create value that no price can measure. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, comment your favorite coin discovery, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because here, we don't just talk about money. We uncover stories, mysteries, and hidden treasures of American history. Stay tuned for our next journey into the world of rare coins, where another small piece of metal might just hold the power to change your life forever. Because in the world of collecting, every coin tells a story, and every story deserves to be told.